We're back. Welcome, folks, to another Moth's Misunderstandings. Here with me is return guest, Ahab.
Hello.
And a new guest. We actually have tried to get her on the podcast multiple times, but she uses a microphone from a third world country taped to a microwave. This is Kat.
Hi!
She is recording live from her Samsung smart microwave.
Yep.
The entire purpose of it... It's supposed to make orders for Amazon, like, hey, Amazon, I need more popcorn. And she's just re-rigged the Echo device inside of it to be her recording device.
Yep. And I can play Skyrim on it, too.
Todd Howard, you've done it again.
Speaking of which, did you guys actually hear Skyrim? And there's another one. There's another game that just refuses to die that's getting specs for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. It's GTA 5.
Seriously?
Well, hasn't Skyrim been around longer than that, though?
Yeah, well, Skyrim was an Xbox 360 shadow title. It was like, it got overshadowed by the release of the Xbox One version. And the problem with the PS3 and the Xbox 360 versions of Skyrim is the longer you played, the worse your frame rate got. So if your save lasted longer than 60 hours, you were basically playing a slideshow.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was like if you get up to 100 hours, you're playing a PowerPoint, and nobody knew why. It was just like a memory leak that the Xbox 360 and the PS3 couldn't handle.
Huh.
That being said, I have, and I brag about this computer pretty much every episode, I have a screaming fast computer. It's entirely liquid cooled, as I've said, and I liquid cooled it myself, just stroking myself off here.
Oh, Jesus.
And every time I've tried to play Xbox One, GTA 5 on this computer, it takes me like 20 minutes to load into GTA 5, and then it takes me another 15 minutes to load into GTA Online.
That's just the game, though. Like, that's just their programming, because my computer is pretty high spec, and it's the same thing. And it's the same thing on consoles, too. Like, I think it's honestly just there's so many assets in GTA 5 that it doesn't matter how fast your shit is. It's going to take a hot minute.
Yeah, I guess for console players, I don't know, I really should use my console more, but until the new Little Big Planet game comes out, I absolutely will not. I guess just make a snack, like go start GTA Online and go make a snack, and come back 15 minutes later to see a Chinese hacker got you banned because he crashed 20 planes into you at once.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like thrilling gameplay.
That is the GTA Online experience.
I'm so glad that I missed out on this, because my computer's a piece of shit and I don't really give a fuck anyway.
Yeah.
Wait, Kat, I thought your computer's good enough to play Final Fantasy 14.
That doesn't mean much. I get like 17 frames. Like,
Oh. So what class do you play?
healer.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's even worse. That is the one class that you actually need frames on.
Actually, I do pretty well. Everyone's always impressed when I tell them.
Well, that's the funny thing is there's actually a struggle. I think I was better at video games when I was just playing off a single core 1.8 gigahertz, like 2 gigs of RAM, trying to play League of Legends back in the day.
Oh, my God.
And I remember this thing. I put like 8 gigs of RAM in it because with a laptop you can't go up. Like you have laptop. But it was good enough that it could run anything that came out on the original Xbox. So I could play Fable and I could play like Psychonauts, but I couldn't play anything else. And I actually remember playing League of Legends in 2009, back when Twisted Fate's Pick a Card was actually difficult to land, because they did a punishment system where you got gold for only 0.5 seconds, and with delay you had to press it like as red was cycling.
Oh.
And I just remember I was like, man, I'm really good at this game. Like, I'm playing against the devs all the time. I'm playing against this one guy called Hotshot. Like, life is great. Like, every other round I'm against this guy named Hotshot. It's like, oh, turned out you were in the good people leagues. And I've never gotten, like, now that my computer's smoking fast, if I tried to play League right now, it'd just be like babies first, eating an entire Lego set.
Well, that's because I think your brain cells have probably deteriorated since then.
Probably.
Games definitely changed since then, and muscle memory is probably lacking. Like,
Well,
I know that if...
League of Legends is lacking.
Well, you're not wrong. I know that when I actually...
Go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
Go on. Go on.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Kat. 3 seconds of radio silence and we get canceled, Kat. Come on.
Shut up! Oh my god! So I used to play Overwatch like a lot. And
I
surprise, surprise, I was a Mercy main.
I was a Reinhardt main, so don't even feel bad about it.
I was a Mercy main, and I started playing Siege. And
Rainbow Six Siege.
yeah, lots of it. I have like 1,200 hours in that game.
If you don't want to enjoy life, just play Siege.
Yeah, I don't enjoy life. I'm miserable. I'm depressed. I have 1,200 hours in that game.
On a
Anyway.
on a recent episode of the actual podcast, I talk about the fact that the only reason I play Siege is so I can play with Brazilians.
Why would you want to do that? You know
Because
what?
I don't care. I'm not trying to be good, so I just play with a bunch of these like somehow white supremacists, despite the fact that they're all Brazilians that are like, I will take the sniper rifle in as attacker, and they just like sit down a hallway with a sniper rifle, and that's what they do.
That's fucking so funny. Oh my
The
god.
chick with the bolt action, they actually play her, and they just sit down a hallway with the sniper rifle and like
That's
rack
not
up
how
3
you play
kills.
Kali.
Yeah, that's how they play her.
I hate this.
I
Oh
love
my
playing Rainbow
God.
Six with Brazilians.
You know what I do? I fuck with the center you play on, cause you can do that through custom game memes. So I go and play on Australian servers, and I win because Australians don't know how to play games.
Well, okay, so I had a friend growing up, and he lived in Australia, and he lived like actually out in the outback, where the fact that there's pictures of him floating around the internet where he's just like chilling next to his pet kangaroo. And I thought that was a joke, and he like sent me pictures. He's like, by the way, that one picture, and this is back when pictures were like 108 kilobytes at most. It was like this picture took about a minute to upload. And they've had the worst internet unless you live in like one of the central cities like Sydney or something. They just don't have internet out there. So you got these guys like who are literally shaking their Cat 3 cables to try and speed up the data transfer.
Australia is not real, and I refuse to believe that it is.
I've never actually met somebody from Australia. And when they did that Jeffrey Epstein documentary where they talked about the girl who then ran away to live with her husband in Australia, you could tell that it was Cuba that they were filming on.
Yeah, I mean, it. Speaking of that documentary, fantastic.
I did not. I mean, I'm glad that documentary got made because anything that brings up like pedophilia rings and like shuts those people down is always good by me.
Well,
But
Yeah.
I have this issue. It's the same issue I have the whole time my wife is making me watch BoJack Horseman. We've been watching it together. I don't mind it. It's one of those things where I could take it or leave it. But it feels like a bunch of people in California are just jerking themselves off like, "Oh, we're so woke. We know about all these things and all these issues. Oh gosh, we're so great because we talk negatively about California sometimes." And like the Epstein pedophile documentary kind of felt the same way to me, just in a different sense, where it was like, oh, look at us bashing those pedophiles and that child sex trafficker. Like, yeah, you know the owner of your company is a pedophile, right? Like, the owner of your company who allowed you to produce this documentary is probably in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I'm convinced that anyone who has more than $1 billion is definitely a pedophile.
I don't know. I weirdly enough, I know I'm gonna get all sorts of flack for this, but I just can't see Elon Musk being a pedophile.
Actually, you know what? I might be there with you on that.
It's the same thing. Like there are a lot of presidents right now that if somebody told me, oh yeah, they diddled kids, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But if somebody was like, yeah, Jimmy Carter and George Bush Jr., I'd be like, what?
George-
Like I actually think George Bush Jr. was too like naive
I
to
think
know
he's
what
too dumb
pedophilia
for
was.
Is that
Like,
where they do that stuff to your toes and then they paint them?
Have you guys all seen my vice president? He went hunting again. Oh, gotta get somebody new for the cabinet. Mike is gonna hate this episode because, like, when we started the podcast, the original I Hate Anime, like, my one requirement was that we do not talk politics, and I've been the only one to break that rule.
Oh. Wow.
Well,
And
I think
it's really difficult to be unbiased and just like because I actively encourage anytime I do talk politics. I'm like, please read anything you want to read, vote however you want to vote. I'm not going to be mad at people for doing what they believe is right. But like sometimes I want to take a jab at some political stance, and unfortunately, there's not always a time where I can rubber band it and make fun of the other side. But I try to make fun of everybody.
That's how it should be. Everyone is a target, and this is why South Park still continues to this day.
I love South Park. Actually, the best people on the planet, though, to make fun of are veterans. Like, oh, you saw your buddy die, and now you have alcoholism. That's so sad. Ahab?
Yeah. I'm not sure you want to open that door.
No, I don't. It's sad because you're actually a combat vet, and I'm not. Like, you know, there were some times where those E2s tried to sneak those volleyballs out of that room from me, you know, and
not the volleyballs.
I've seen some things.
Not...
Sorry. So we actually, we do this every time. My last episode, I'm supposed to talk about horror games, and I think I spent 30 minutes talking about body positivity with somebody who used to be 350 pounds and then discovered CrossFit.
I mean, on the bright side, you only wasted 10 minutes this time.
Yeah, right? But it's like, she must be the only human being on the planet who CrossFit has actually helped. But then again, I go to like a powerlifting gym where they just play Sabaton all the time, every day.
Yes.
There was one time when Volbeat came on and everybody just started screaming about it. And I feel bad because the lead singer of Volbeat is like the one guy on the planet where I don't have to know the song to know it's him singing. Because he's got that Lady Bernadette.
Yeah,
like,
he's got
it sounds like he's punching him.
He's got like a weird 90s rock, like alternative rock kind of inflection to his voice, like a lot of the guys did, like Pearl Jam, and you know.
Yeah, he sounds like he's throat punching himself in the larynx the entire time. Just like.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been able to put quite into words how it sounds when he sings, but you've done it, Moth. I'm thoroughly impressed and amazed.
Thanks. So, the reason I got Kat and Ahab back, we all play MMOs, and these two play the most degenerate MMO, which happens to also be the best MMO.
Funny how that
it's
goes.
not Phantasy Star Online. Fuck you.
Phantasy Star Online, I was so excited for that to come back, and then I remember playing it, and I like booted up, and I was like, what the hell was I expecting? Because Phantasy Star Online 2 is exactly like Phantasy Star Online on my Dreamcast, just with better graphics. It's the same stuff. You teleport into a planet, you run around, you kill some things. It's like, it's semi-action feeling, but at the same time, like, you know you're not actually, control, like, you get this false sense of action, and then all of your skills still auto-lock in. It's really hard to dodge enemies sometimes. It's just like, oh, I'm just playing another RNG MMO that pretends it's not. Which is sad, because I actually remember Phantasy Star, I want to say on the Game Boy DS, was actually really fun. And now I'm going to go back and play and be like, no, it's not. Phantasy Star has never been fun.
The nostalgia goggles won't work so well, huh?
Well, like, the first time I played, the servers crashed because they had a virtual concert. Like, they actually had a, a Hatsune Miku type do a virtual concert, and it just crashed the room I was in. It became a PowerPoint.
Hatsune Miku type? You mean a Vocaloid?
It wasn't a Vocaloid, it was just, like, a virtual idol. So, they both play Final Fantasy XIV. Just other MMOs. Ahab, other than 14, have you played any other MMO?
I played World of Warcraft for a little while, and then like one or two smaller, not so well known MMOs that were just kind of semi-interesting at the time.
Are we talking about like I'm trying to think of like Risen or whatever it was called?
No, I didn't touch that one. I tried. What was that one that had a TV show paired to it? Defiance?
What? I don't remember anything with the TV show paired to it, which is sad because I know there's tons.
Yeah, well,
Defiance! Yeah.
I tried that one. It didn't really.
You know that has a sequel, right?
Does it?
Yeah, there's like literally an MMO called Defiance 2, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check that. But yeah, no, the only reason I remember Defiance is because DM mod or an actual GM he messaged me once because he was like, "Yeah, your name is Bukake Bistro. We're gonna need you to change that."
Yeah.
There is no Defiance 2.
It.
Oh, but it's
Can't
called
believe you
Defiance
like.
2050.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, there's a 2 in there. There's a 2.
Well, it's a rehash. I had to look it up real quick. You know what's funny is PlanetSide is still around.
Yeah, PlanetSide is somehow still going.
And they just did a massive update too. Like a massive update where there's like giant ship battles. And I'm like, "Oh, so we're going back to Battlefield 2142? I might play it
Yeah,
again."
really. Because I mean, I okay. So here's my little experience with PlanetSide. Okay, I downloaded it because I was like, okay, I had never played it. Everybody said a whole lot of good stuff about it. Let's go check it out. I drop in, and it was like, how's the best way for me to describe this? Imagine if you took the biggest, most brutally American fireworks show that you can imagine, and then put it in the middle of a Cat 5 hurricane. That's
Yeah,
what,
yeah, because
yeah, like it was nuts. Like it was just balls to the wall action right out of the gate, and it was nonstop. And I was like, I didn't even know what was going on. There's no
no,
objective markers. There's no anything.
no,
Like,
you kind
yeah,
of
you're just there.
the only thing that you truly know the entire time you're playing is that I need to make because I think my buddies made me play the purple team. You have to make your circle of influence bigger than the enemies, and you absolutely cannot do that alone.
Yeah,
And it sucks. You're like, well, I want to team up with a group of players, and the only people who are playing are like closed group of also friends.
yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not getting in.
Well, that sounds like, every fucking multiplayer game ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
basically.
but
just fucking horrible.
mechanically speaking, like PlanetSide kind of takes it to the next level. Like like Call of Duty or Battlefield or various PvP MMOs. Like you as an individual player still have the chance to like get a fighting edge
To
in it.
carry your
Yeah,
team.
like you still
Yeah.
have the chance. Like playing Warframe. I can carry the three other guys on my team alone. Even if they're complete morons, like I can do it in most game modes just based
Well,
on
to be
player
fair,
skill.
if you're doing like a min-max account in Warframe, you absolutely can. Because I've seen who is it, Torrent, the water guy who could just chuck water around.
Torrent. Oh, Hydroid.
Yeah, Hydroid. Yeah, I've seen him just completely mop the floor in just closed area
Yeah,
sets.
that's me. Like I'm running around with, Gauss, and I'm moving faster than most people can blink. The frame is so fast. I'm not even actually watching the screen. I'm watching the mini map, so I know where I'm going. Like, because it's pointless to look at the screen because there's just so much going on so fast and so many particle effects. You literally
Yep,
can't
you're like,
see.
as long as I don't hit a wall, I'm fine.
Actually, hitting a wall is totally fine because his first ability, his Mach Rush, where he sprints forward at the speed of light, if you slam into a solid object, it creates an explosion.
Yeah.
So that
So
too
it's
works. Like it's madness.
so yeah, we're definitely then we're gonna get you into Planetfall 2 because I've been meaning to play, and with this new update that's like everybody come back. I'm like, well, I have been playing MechWarrior Online again, but sure, whatever. Kat, what about you? We got League of Legends, we got Final Fantasy 14.
I-
Any
I've
other MMOs?
I have never played League of Legends in my life.
That is a load of crap, and you know it.
It's actually not. I downloaded it because the Florkmod team wanted to play, and
Why?
I never opened it.
Why would we do that to ourselves?
This was before you.
Fair enough. I mean, I kind of like Dota 2. Sometimes if I'm feeling an MMO, like I'll pick up Dota 2. And weirdly enough, I actually enjoyed Heroes of the Storm, which
I hated
I
that
don't know.
game so fucking much because I
But
had to
then again,
play it for my best friend Claire because she was trying to get the fucking stupid Genji skin for Overwatch,
Ugh.
and
I just played
she
Abathur. I played Abathur religiously.
was just horrible.
I love Abathur. Leave me alone.
But
Late game, you just camp a lane and win.
the only other game I'd say that I played was RuneScape. Because
There we go. We got the OG cred. We got a girl who plays RuneScape, guys.
There it is.
yeah, I've been followed around by male characters asking me to be their GF. It has happened, and
Look, if you're fishing $8.99, I don't want you.
I'm working on it. Okay. I
Back
think
to
my
the fish
highest skill
mines.
is actually rune crafting or archaeology, because I play like the current RuneScape 3, and they introduced archaeology as a skill, and I gotta say that I fucking love it because it's crafting and gathering in one. So I feel like I'm being productive with it.
I think my biggest issue with Final Fantasy XIV, once we get back to that topic, I played 2 classes. Well, 3, because you really you more or less you can play all the classes, but you kind of fill into a niche where you're like, this is my primary raid class, this is my primary gathering class, and this is my primary crafting class. And then you have some people who religiously play the game and have like 9 or 10 classes left, like max statted. But
Oh,
what
you don't
killed
even
me
know, man.
what killed me is I went into carpentry because the idea of building tables seems very interesting to me for some reason. So I go into woodcrafting, and then I proceed to go into lumberjacking because that's the class that has the most materials for woodcrafting.
Botany.
Botany and carpentry. Leave me alone. And you have to sit there and you have to go into the woods, you have to cut the stuff with the tree, and then you come back, you're like, oh, I need diamond nails to craft a table. So then
Well,
you have to go
yeah.
get a hold you have to go get a hold of your buddy who's a miner, and you're like, hey, do you need wood for anything? And he just laughs at you because apparently blacksmithing requires no wood. And it's miserable. It's like, please, I just need nails. And our server right now is absolutely scalping the price of nails. Please.
Just go do it yourself, forehead.
I know. I just want to build tables. I don't want to mine.
Yeah, that's.
Don't worry, Moth. My miner is maxed. I would give you all of my materials, but you're not on the same data center as me, so go fuck off and
No,
die.
I paid $15 to transfer over to Ahab's data server, played for one day, and then it was like, man, I got a lot of other things to do in my life.
What data center?
Balrog?
Crystal data center.
Yes.
Oh God!
Yeah,
You're on the worst one.
Yeah, thanks.
Why are you there?
Thanks. I'm a raider. I hate it more than anybody. Believe me.
Dude, just come back to Primal.
I
Come on.
can't.
That was the thing. We got split, and I wasn't online when the data centers got split. So me and my little brother were on the same server, and I just got yeeted out, or the same data center, and I got yeeted out. And they're like, by the way, you can have a free transfer. And then they absolutely did not give me that free transfer.
Sounds like a personal problem, really.
It is. I hate. I hate how they nickel and dime you for anything.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they really don't do that for most things. When you stop and consider, so like with World of Warcraft, their cash shop,
Is nuts.
it's absolutely insane. Like there's the smell of greed just permeates out of your monitor, and it's terrible. At least with.
Oh yeah.
And this isn't a total defense of cash shops or anything like that, but at least with Final Fantasy XIV, it's purely just cosmetic shit. Aside from the jump potions, which are more of a recent addition, anyways.
And those are for side accounts, really, just so you don't have to go through the hell of ARR's after story or, Stormblood.
I think I've made it all the way past the dragon plotline because I'll pick this game up, play it religiously for 2 weeks, and put it down every time. I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure we're starting a war with the church because having sex with dragons is bad. And,
No, you're
I have
starting
no idea
a war
what the
with the
plot
church
is.
because having sex with dragons is good, and they're fucking wrong. You have to kill the church because they say we can't fuck dragons.
Yeah, so
I got a different
I have
message
no
out of
idea
it.
what the plot is.
Yeah, I did too. I actually watched the cutscenes, unlike Moth.
I have not watched a single cutscene, so my understanding of the first part of the game is a raid guild is terrible at raiding and gets murdered.
Yeah, you know
That
what?
is-
Let's go with that. This is. Let's hear Moth explain Final Fantasy.
Okay, Final Fantasy XIV, the first core base game, was absolutely terrible. Came out in 2011, was so bad that they rebooted the entire game 5 years
Yes.
later. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, the entire premise is you get suckered into joining a free company by a weird little hobbit-ass looking thing, which is in the middle of the desert somewhere, and it takes forever to get there at first because you don't have it linked to your freaking transfer portal. So you have to teleport to the nearest town and run there every time you take a quest for the first, 2 days.
Pray return to the
And then
Western
finally
There it is.
they'll let you... And then finally they let you into the inner sanctum and you actually have a teleport point. You're like, oh, thank God. And they're like, yeah, we gotta do stuff like beat Ifrit and things.
Wait.
And they're all terrible at it, and you basically carry the entire guild on your back.
Yeah, that.
And then half of them get murdered, and you have to go on this really weird quest line where you go talk to all their ghosts, and they tell you they forgive you, even though you're not responsible for their incompetence. And then I think you stop a freaking monarch from getting killed or something. I wasn't really sure about that. Oh, and then Sid shows up and
we
saves
saved the
you.
lolly. We saved the lolly, guys.
And then Sid shows up for some reason and gives you a machine, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Sid shows up for some reason. That's just literally why he's there. I fucking hate Sid. He's just
I love
honestly
Sid.
the worst.
Sid is
Nero
always my
is the
favorite
superior
character.
Garlean. You need to shut your whore mouth.
Nero is not the superior Garlean.
Yes, he is. Oh my
no,
god.
see, here's the problem. Nero suffers from a serious inferiority complex because of Sid.
Pussy.
Yeah, because everyone compares him to Sid, and he's like, literally, I'm objectively better. You need to shut the fuck up.
He's not, though.
How is he objectively better?
No,
Sid is a
listen to me.
staple of the Final Fantasy universe. Nero isn't.
Like the
Listen.
problem that Nero has is that he's not objectively better at anything. He's at least on par with Sid, maybe, but not better. 2, that dude needs to get the fuck over himself because every single one of his machinations that he's ever put forth against Sid didn't even realize at first that Nero had it out for him because Sid was just like, yeah, no, Nero's a cool dude. He's really smart. We work well together. And then the next time he sees him, which was in the Praetorium 2-hour-long fucking cutscene dungeon.
Oh yeah, the one where you can't skip the cutscene, so Moth actually had to pay attention to story.
Yeah.
Nope. I tabbed it out and had porn going.
I'm not gonna lie, I do that too.
I absolutely tabbed out, and I was just like, I kept tabbing in every 10 or 15 minutes. I was like, is it over?
Nope, Nero is still talking. He just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets even better. Yeah,
it basically in the Praetorium, Sid, he talks to Nero and it's like, Nero, what are you doing, man? Because Sid was under the assumption that they were cool and everything was fine, and then Nero's like, haha, surprise, douchebag, I'm actually evil for literally no reason other than petty jealousy.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No. No. Literally, what happens is he's like, dude, Nero.
I'm
Because
inclined
Nero's
to believe
fucking
Ahab
with their
on this
signals.
one.
No, shut the fuck up. Nero's fucking with their shit, and he's like, you know what, Sid? Fuck you! I fucking hate you! Because everyone compares me to you. I'm not as good as you in their eyes. Well, you know what? Fuck off. I'm just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
And I have to agree, because his designs, for gear, if you look at the Ironworks gear versus the Skaven gear, his designs look better.
I don't know. I don't
they actually
recall,
have a higher gear score too, so get fucked,
but
Sid.
Was Nero in Final Fantasy VII? No, so Sid is better.
No, I need you to. No, you fuck off.
Okay, so here's another big problem here. Okay, Nero.
Fun fact from Ahab.
Nero is a constant source of problems across multiple expansions. Okay, not even just talking about A Realm Reborn and the Praetorium, but also, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't been playing the game in the last 2 years at this point, 3 years technically.
Get fucked if you haven't played through Stormblood.
Honestly, if you feel like you're getting spoiled missing anything, just it's fine. The plot of Final Fantasy XIV is not that good. The
What?
main reason you play it is
What?
because the combat is actually pretty decent.
Well, I mean, he did play A Realm Reborn, so I can give that to him.
So
But there's 2 expansions that were actually good, so you need to.
yeah, like even Stormblood is better than A Realm Reborn.
Well, it's better. That doesn't mean it's good. Stormblood suffered from the problem of El Amigo and Lise. See,
I
if
don't
it
know
had
what those
just
words
been the
mean.
fucking weeb shit, it would have been a fine expansion. People would have loved it. But they had
When you
to make
walk
us care
away.
about stupid refugees and this stupid white bitch trying to do things, but she's
Wait.
fucking mentally deficient. And
Wait.
that's
Which
why it sucked.
which expansion pack lets you sleep with the dragon?
You don't get to fuck a dragon.
Which expansion pack is
You get
that?
to fuck a dragon with your sword.
Yeah.
Cool. Which
yeah,
expansion
I
is
get
that?
to
Is
stick
that
my
Heaven's
sword
Sword?
in
Yeah, it was
Nidhogg.
Heaven's Sword.
Yeah, I'm still in Heaven's Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So Nero, getting back to that, Nero had the brilliant idea to release Omega, which then created an entirely other set of huge problems for everybody. And
I mean, wasn't that to contain Shinryu?
yes, and guess
Well,
what? Plot twist. All they did was
didn't
just make it
work.
worse. Because then they basically
I
handed Shinryu over to Xenos on a almost a literal silver platter, who then took Shinryu and just started messing everything
vored
up.
him. He vored Shinryu. That's what happened. You can't convince me otherwise.
You know, I can't actually verify if what you guys are saying is true or not, but knowing that it's Square Enix, I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. But also, at the same time, I feel like you're looking at it a little bit too critically because there's no way that they could have foreseen the consequences of doing that. So they had done what they had thought was best at the time.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. However,
So Nero really.
however, here's my thing, okay? At no point was I, the guy actually doing all the fighting, given a chance to put my input in to say, no, I think I could take him.
Well, no, they have to show stuff for the next expansion. Come on.
Yeah, I will say that as much as I hated the Old Republic, it was kind of nice that I felt like I was choosing some of the things I was doing.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I did. That was another MMO I played. Star Wars: The Old
Everybody
Republic.
played the Old Republic for 2 weeks.
I did not play.
Well, yeah, because it probably melted your computer.
No, I'm like, as far as video games go, if it hasn't come out, like in the past 5 years, I probably don't know anything about it.
That's fair.
Because
But
I
yeah,
only got a PC 3 years ago, and before that, I had a PlayStation 3 and like 5 games.
one of them was The Last of Us 1.
No, actually, I had Borderlands, Uncharted, Deadpool,
Okay, so
Guitar
you had the
Hero.
good Last of Us.
I had one more. I don't fucking remember what it was.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm disappointed that
Now
Metal Gear
the-
Solid 4 is not on that list.
Well, I've never
You know what-
I've never played any of those games. I'm
Oh no!
just
Oh no!
hold on.
Oh no! Oh
Shh,
no!
shh, shh.
Ahab just took a huge huge drag of his cigar, and he's like, "Listen here, you little crap."
No, hold on. I didn't say I had no desire to play them. No, what I said was that I haven't had a chance to play them yet. I'm just now making my way through the Devil May Cry series, but
Okay.
hey, wasn't this supposed to be about fucking MMOs?
Yeah, it really is. That being said, we can talk about the plot all we want, but let's talk about the real reason I called you both here. All right. So I've probably played 4 MMOs where I've genuinely played the MMO, and that is this one, Final Fantasy XIV. I actually made it through one of the main games before I got bored and quit again, and I'm proud of myself for that. I then played Firefall. That was the MMO I was trying to remember on a previous episode. I played Firefall. It's not good. Don't play
Yeah.
it. I played Tabula Rasa, which is what Firefall should have been when Firefall came out. And that game got canceled after a year. And the biggest grooming / weird ERP MMO that even Final Fantasy XIV can't touch. We're going to talk about Ragnarok Online. I'm guessing from the silence, neither of you have played it.
I'm trying to
No,
remember
but
what that is.
I've heard stories. I have.
All right, so as a primer to get you guys ready, because we got to talk about like OG grooming, because we can talk about stuff like Ultima Online, but Ultima Online was just so many neckbeards trying to figure out how to min-max each other through potions of poison and stuff that it's not even like worth talking about. Ragnarok Online was a big deal because it was originally only released in Korea, and then we got maybe it was Japan, but it was an Asiatic country, and they got the source files leaked for it, and so a bunch of people like translated the crap out of it, and it kind of became freeware because I think they still own the patent, but Americans didn't care because it wasn't our patent. So we were just posting servers left and right. Like as long as you had a computer that could kind of handle things, you could have a Ragnarok Online server.
Huh.
And that's what it was. Like everybody had Ragnarok Online servers, and they slightly changed the game. Like times 10 EXP grind, times 14 EXP grind. One of my buddies swore that times 4 was the best way to do it, but he was an idiot. Times 10 or like times 20 was the best way to play Ragnarok Online. And what it is just like, we don't want to grind as hard as people in different countries do.
Right.
So you created a character, you multi-classed, you selected a job, then after a while you got a new job, and then if you reborn your character, like actually reset your character to level 1 with a bunch of bonus base stats, you could rebirth your character a third time. Or not rebirth, you could choose like a third job. And there was a lot of cool things going on. The problem is that MMO was such a weeb aesthetic that we had so many just horny 14-year-olds when I was a kid who would play that game, not to actually play that game, which was a pretty solid MMO. They played that game to have sex and get married.
Yikes.
Because that game was catered to marriage systems. And I actually remember one time my buddy got me into a server that had like 280 active members, which was really all you needed. And I logged into Prontera, and it didn't even start you in Prontera. It started you on like this weird custom city. And I started right in a wedding chapel, and everybody was just like, like hissing at me. And they're just going off. They're like, "Can you please leave? We're having a wedding ceremony right now."
That's a big yikes from me, dog.
And I'm just like, all right, okay. And just the longer you played that game, eventually someone would try to sleep with you. And that game was just a hotbed of drama. I saw entire servers go down because the owner was caught like sleeping with multiple people or something. It is just
This
it
sounds
was
this sounds exactly like Final Fantasy, but you just replace a server with free company.
Oh yeah, no. I want you guys to get in on this, but I gotta let you know, like, what we're gonna talk about regarding Final Fantasy 14 is not new. We have done this for years. Like before that, it was also like freaking Guy Online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's bad. So shifting focus back to Final Fantasy 14, let's talk about incest-free companies.
Oh god.
Usually
No.
I have a
Is
witty.
this where we have to start?
I usually have a witty one-liner, but right now I got nothing, man. So
Dude, it's free company.
let's just do it.
There's a meme that's like every free company has one, and it has like a list of 30 people. It's like the guy who plays the dad character, the chick who thinks she's the mom character but isn't, like the chick the main guy is sleeping with, the other 4 women the main guy is sleeping with, the person who pretends she's the daughter of the main guy, and like, oh, main guy also sleeping with her, and the list just like goes
Is this
down.
an anime?
Just, like everything we saw in Sword Art Online that people didn't want to believe with the house episode is exactly a free company.
I mean, you're not wrong, but also I've never had the displeasure of experiencing a free company like that. No, mine were just the first one I was in. It was unbelievably toxic. Oh, God, those fucking owners.
Story time, go cat.
Oh, they were toxic in the extreme. And they like to pick people and make them their bestest buddy in the whole wide world. And then they would just one day decide they weren't good enough and turn on them and just annihilate them because one day they weren't good enough. And then they'd pick a new person and move on to that.
Yeah.
And apparently they hated me. And the working theory on it was jealousy because I
You had
can
a
kind
cute
of
girl
just walk
voice.
into a room and people like me. As kind of narcissistic as that sounds to say, I really just do that, and
It has nothing to do with the fact that you come into servers with the rape victim voice and goes,
hey,
"Hi guys."
I didn't always do that. Now shut the fuck up. I'm still
No, that's
talking.
absolutely.
No, no.
Give us that voice, Cat. Do the voice.
Oni-chan, stop bullying me.
Ow, my skin is
Okay.
crawling. Ah!
That's not cool.
Okay, but I don't always do that. So
I'm just glad there's two grown ass men who are just like, nope.
That big fucking yikes, dog.
oh yeah, no. I do it because it makes people uncomfortable. It's
Makes
funny
me
to me.
incredibly uncomfortable. It makes Mike aroused, but it makes me uncomfortable.
The lolicons don't deserve human rights.
I
Can I get that? Can I get that in a message sent to him publicly on Twitter, please?
Yeah, I will at him when this is done, and I will say that lolicons don't deserve human rights.
Good.
you know
Good.
Okay, so to continue my story, so they hated me. The working theory was jealousy because they were shitty people, and oh god, like a lot of people just straight up hated them, talked shit about them constantly, and then there was me. Everyone just I walk in chat, I say hi, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Cat!"
Now, Kat,
Yeah.
how old were you at the time?
At the time, I think I was like 19.
Okay, I was thinking if you were like 17 at the time, it'd just be like, oh, well, there's the groomer den.
Oh God, no, 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 no. But there were some underage people in there that tried to get on like adults, and it was just like really uncomfy. And everyone was like, "Fucking full stop, get out."
Yeah, there's this like, if you were to take a Venn diagram, it would actually just be like an open pair of butt cheeks that doesn't overlap at all. But you would have like adults who want to groom children, and then adults who are like sensible and don't like it when children hit on them. And with Final Fantasy 14, you get one of the two. It's like you're in a free company filled with groomers, or you're in a free company just like, stop that. Let me get the water bottle.
Yeah, like I prefer to hang around the people who are like, "Stop that," and get the spray bottle if I break out that Oni-chan voice.
Yeah, and that's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
that's why I do it,
If
because
everyone is
it's
like,
funny.
please don't. But if someone's like, please talk like that, I'm so close. Please just keep going.
I actually knew a girl who was like that. I don't want to talk too much about her because I
No,
respect
talk
her.
smack.
No,
Talk
I
smack. Let's talk
respect
smack.
her as a person, and I don't want to
This
talk.
is the Howard Stern MMO podcast. Talk smack.
She's a good person, okay? I don't want to talk too much about her, but she
No, we're gonna get to your carnal level. We're gonna get to your jealous. We're gonna get to your persona.
I love her. She was a sweetheart, but what? She did like to do stuff like that, and it made a lot of people uncomfortable, and I think that's what she gets off on,
Hmm.
and it it's something.
All right, you
I don't want to
you
talk
don't.
too. I really don't want to talk too much about her because she's really a good person. She's a nympho, and
It's
that comes with its own set of issues. I,
It
yeah.
does.
like
I
a
actually.
genuine one, not like a horny slut that's like, "Oh, I'm such a nympho. I have to fuck every guy I see." Like, I can't be in a one-man relationship because, oh my god, I'm so horny. You don't fuck me good enough.
That I don't know why, but
Oh,
that just
jeez.
makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here just like, ugh.
Like,
Hey, as uncomfortable as it makes you guys, I hope you know that I am just as annoyed by the way my voice sounds.
You know, it's okay. I'm stuck in this perpetual monotone, and what's worse is I'm pretty sure if I got these two surgeries I've needed since childhood, I would sound like hot sex butter. And it's just I need to get I need to get the same surgery Ahab got, where I just need somebody to like go in with a cauterizing gun and knock a couple of cysts out of my sinuses, and then I need somebody to remove my tonsils, and I will be a champion.
yeah. So it's talking about the list, quote unquote, of the typical personality tropes you see in free companies. like at the start of this whole thing, and like the idea of free companies being like sex cults or whatever,
Families.
like I was like, nah, they're not like that. And then you started listing off some of the things that you see in free companies, and I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's here's my story with Final Fantasy 14. Now, I love my wife. I love her dearly, and I really need to establish that. Like, I will not ever cheat on my wife. We've kind of agreed that we would just ask for a divorce before either of us cheated on the other.
That's good.
And I respect
Yeah,
that. I can
yeah,
appreciate
it's a
that.
good thing.
And I play Final Fantasy 14, and somebody starts helping me with quests. And they do this thing that they do to recruit people where they go to like low level areas and they find the players that actually look like they're trying and they help them with a couple of quests. And they're like, by the way, you want to join my free company, kid?
Yeah, they either
And you're
do
like,
that or they'll just like shout it in Limsa, or they'll send you a tell and be like, "Hey, want to join my FCE?" Or they'll just straight up invite you, and it's just like, "Hey, can you fuck off?"
yeah. So I appreciate the first tactic because it shows like a genuine, like, let's get you in here. And so somebody did that to me, and we were both heel sluts. And by the way, if you get offended by the phrase heel slut, shut up. You're not an actual heel slut.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly.
Like,
It,
if you call yourself a heel slut, you're a healer. Anybody who's like, that phrase makes me feel uncomfortable, like, shut the hell up. I choose who lives and dies.
yeah, it's like
Like,
I can call myself a heel slut because I have, you know how many of my healers are at 80? I have all three at 80. Shut the fuck and die.
see, I just play Theologian, because that's the only one that
Yeah, what
matters.
the fuck is theology?
Astrologian,
Oh,
I love that
Astrologian, there we go.
class. It's like
Astrologian.
literally my favorite. It just I got
I,
told to play scholar because apparently I do better on a class that I have absolutely like no idea what I was doing. Like one day for a joke I went into a savage raid as scholar and somehow did better, and I'm like, I don't even know how this class works. I've spent half this fight trying to figure out what my buttons do.
what are my
Why?
bindings?
Why? What is
well,
this?
that's the plot twist. The fairy did all the healing for you.
Oh no, no. I
Yeah.
mean like it was a savage raid, so you actually, need to use your stuff.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
shielding and stuff and lustrate, the other skills that I don't remember the name of, but I
Yeah,
know how to use.
Adlo,
Yeah,
an
crit low. I
Adlo.
did crit low, crit low. That's all I do. That's my function. I crit low.
Yeah, so I get in. I'm doing this, and I think I'm in the woods, like the level 18, 19 woods area.
Yeah, you're like Gridania because you're playing
Yeah, South
healer.
Gridania. Yeah, I'm in South Gridania, and I'm doing around, and somebody helps me with a couple of quests, and she's like, "Hey, you want to join my free company?" I'm like, "Sure," and we join, and everything's really okay at first, like it always is. And then the owner of the guild is spending like more time in her room than anything else. And I always play like big burly characters because I like to see myself as a big burly man, even though my perpetual cut over the last like year has turned me into a twink. Um, I just I
So you're playing
they
a
keep.
row.
I am now playing whatever the hell Kimari is.
Or Hrothgar?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm playing a. What is my name now? It went from like your favorite tentacle to like I don't remember. I have a name that if I was ever on an RP server, I'd get kicked off for. In fact, I remember my name. The person when I entered my name at the registration is like, "There's a special place in hell reserved for people with fake names." That's not a fake name, is it? I'm like, nope, nope. But they invite me, and she's like spending every day in her room. Like she rarely goes out. And finally, she's like, "Hey, Moth." I don't know what my name is on that, but she's like, "You want to come to my room?" And I'm like, "Not really." And she invites
Chad,
me
no.
anyway. She invites me anyway, and she's like insisted on. She's like, "I won't let you use the guild crafting table or the free company crafting tables anymore." And I'm like, "You have no power on that. Like, I'm allowed I'm allowed to use the crafting tables no matter what until you kick me out, sucker." And finally, I get in, and she's just in a room with like two other guys, and they're all kneeling at a freaking Japanese futon or whatever. And I already know what's going on. Like, you don't have to be dumb. And she's just like, how's everything going? I'm like, cool, just talking to my wife. Just talking to my wife. Did I mention I have a wife? And she's like, that's so cute. And she would just, for the next like 3 weeks, she would just message me trying to get me to ERP with her. And she's like, come on, I'll let you do whatever you want. I'm like, just not feeling it. No.
ERP
Like,
is just
if
the
I was
worst.
single, No, like if I was single, I absolutely would at ERP every day, all day. I'd be a horny little degenerate. I will absolutely say that. There's no problem with that. But I'm married now, and I don't do that anymore. And so it's just like, get away from me, please.
You
Like,
know,
just go
I
away.
can see some people can make like a distinction or a difference between in real life and in the video game. I personally, I've seen some people running around in Limsa or just pretty much anywhere in the game that isn't like where you actually go to play the game. You see people
Oh
running
yeah,
around
when,
doing
when
that stuff, but you know,
you and I, the first time I played on your server, we're in Gridania, and
oh
just the
yeah,
dudes are sitting on each other's
yeah,
faces.
the pile of cat
Yeah,
boys.
that sounds like you're in a hub city.
Yep,
But
yep.
you
Just
want
a
you
pile of.
want to hear what happens in Limsa? You want to hear the degenerate shit?
I'm like texting my little brother right now, and I'm like, "What is the gay server?" And he's telling me it's Fairy on Aether.
Okay,
He's
that's all right.
that is the degenerates. That is the degenerate server. You try to get to that server so you can live out whatever
Oh,
fantasy
I
you
thought
want to
that
live
was
out.
Balmung.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Although
Balmung.
Mateus is very well known as well, supposedly for being a Lala fetish server, and I'm
Okay, so
not
Ugh.
okay with
we
that.
need to nuke that one.
Yeah. Don't ask me how I know these things. It's just one of those things you pick up, like, oh, this server is known for that. This server is known for being lolicons and shotacons. This server is known for being a toxic raiding server. And I have two stories on that, but like I said,
On
in
toxic rating servers.
Limsa, right?
Yeah.
There's this chick. She's like, give me 3,000 gil and I'll send you my nudes. She's not even asking for a lot. She's just like 3,000 gil. And I'm like, you could get that by selling your fucking chest piece, dude. What are you doing? And she's like,
Yeah. No, no, go ahead, kid.
my
Go ahead.
my friend, he messages her. He sends her the gil, gives her his Discord, and she sends him her nudes.
Oh my god.
On
Yeah.
on God,
What was her name?
it's
Yeah, just for so I know who to avoid.
she changed her name, but even still, I'm not gonna tell you.
That was a joke, by the way. That was a joke.
I figured, but I know that there is people who probably would want to know, and I'm not gonna name
For
her name. There's
research
only one
purposes.
name I'm gonna name here, and that's my next story for when we get
Okay,
into
go
that.
ahead.
But this chick has like a fucking rockin' body apparently. I never saw the pictures. This is from my friend and the friend that he sent the nudes to as well.
Okay, so your friend
See,
who's
So
totally
she
not you and the friend's friend.
no,
yeah,
no,
who are
it
these
literally
people, by the
wasn't me.
way?
I don't want to see some skanky hoe on Final Fantasy's nudes.
Dude, I gotta say, like, as somebody who has histrionic personality disorder, like, I totally get the appeal of sending my naked body to strangers. No, no,
Anyway,
like it's actually like a mental disease I
no,
have where I get
I understand
aroused at
that.
the idea of like disgusting people.
Yeah.
Like the more horrified people are of me, like just like the better it is. That's like and now Ahab is suddenly putting things together in another Discord like wait a minute.
But so this chick's got like a really rockin' body, and then you look at her face, and it's just,
Is it Smeagol?
oh god, it was bad. And they're talking about how hot she is, but that they'd have to fuck her with a fucking bag over their head, and they're like,
That's
you
an
know, a
old
girl like this
joke.
probably would let you. And I'm like, that's really fucking sad.
No, this is an old joke. The whole I'd bag her, but I need to bag her. Like that's been going around since I was a kid and
Well,
probably
no, that wasn't
earlier.
even the phrasing they used though.
Butterface.
Butterface.
Yeah, no. Ahab, that phrase has been around since we were kids.
It's been around since before that. Like,
Yeah, like it's she's got a wonderful body, Butterface.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's no, we truly understand that phrase. Trust me, we've been around.
But yeah, like apparently she's got like a really, really fat ass.
You want to know like the perfect example of a Butterface?
Oh god.
Ivanka Trump.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like it's always pretty subjective. So
I
I'm not
gotta
gonna
agree
throw
with
any
this one
names in
though.
there, but yeah.
No. Throw names out. I want to hear it.
No,
Yeah,
I,
talk
I
shit.
I'm not going to because
Talk shit or get hit.
I don't have an opinion. But
Okay. All right. Go ahead. So what's the other one, Kat? So we got this chick with a rocking body. What's the other story?
The other story is the other side of MMOs, the other personality trait that we haven't gotten into yet, the
Go ahead.
controlling creep.
Oh. Oh, the if everything isn't going exactly how I say, then
No, the
that
guy that
guy.
needs to be in control of everything. So,
Yeah, and if you start talking out of line during a raid, he just like starts freaking out at you.
ooh,
this guy, his name is Arion Pax, and I have no shame in naming him because this motherfucker.
Dropping dead names. Dropping dead names here.
Now that's his in-game name, and
No,
he's
I'm just
very
messing.
notorious as far as Exodus goes. That's the server I play on, and Arion Pax, man, he's that guy who has to be in control of the NovNet, the novice network for baby players,
uh,
and he's just generally not well liked. He also is like the leader of the hunting stuff, so there's that as well. And uh he's just really not well liked. I don't know, I can't verify the truth of anything that I've been told about this guy. So this is, take it how you will. Supposedly he likes to groom underage girls. And he's like, "I'll help you with your PC." Wink wink, wink bonk.
uh,
And this is just supposedly. Like, that I'm not stating for a fact. What I am stating for a fact is he's very much up on his high horse and really needs to sit back and realize that this is a fucking video game, dude. Chill your tits.
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the reason I actually stopped playing MechWarrior Online for a while was I got into this, like, first off, they demanded they play Clan Wolf all the time. They're like, if you play with us, you have to be Clan Wolf. You can't be anything else. I'm like, no, Clan Wolf was gay. Clan Wolf was gay. In the
Just
Battletech
like you.
universe, Clan Wolf was stupid. Nobody liked Clan Wolf. Everybody's like, oh, they're the best clan because they ended up teaming up with the Inner Sphere or blah. Like, no, Clan Wolf is dumb. Don't be dumb. So, like, they demanded I change my allegiances, which I didn't do. So when the trial period ended, they stopped. Like, they were like, you got to join us or you can't play with us anymore. I'm like, nope. But the owner, like, I would just play. Like, my whole role when I play MechWarrior Online is that I'm the guy who stops the missiles from hitting you. I am the anti-missile boat.
Tank.
And no, actually,
No.
I weigh 20 tons. I am the lightest mech in the game.
Really?
But yes, but my job is to prevent missiles from hitting you. So I don't even have a weapon. My entire suite is designed around like stopping stuff from hitting my teammates.
So what, do you like blow it up? Or
My system basically has an anti-missile targeting system.
ah.
So that's the role I play when I play that game. But like this dude just, oh, everybody get to this side. Oh my gosh, they're using the jump jet hacks because there's a thing where I guess weapons don't always hit you if you're jump jetting because they never fix the code. He's just yelling autistically the entire time, like, "Oh, you gotta do this! Oh, you gotta side." He's just screaming at us the whole time, and every time we lose, like, you could hear him like slamming his hand on the keyboard.
Yikes.
Yeah, and I quit playing MechWarrior Online for a bit because of this guy.
Yeah. I.
But
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, you got any stories for us, Dave? Or
Dave.
Ahab?
Who the hell's Dave?
Uh, I did an episode where I recorded with a guy named Technical Dave
Okay.
yesterday or last time.
All right. Well, I'll let that slide this time.
Oh, thanks.
So okay. I a lot of my stories come from either being a part of a raid group and dealing with some toxicity or just generally shitty people or having to handle situations because I'm a high officer in my FC. So
Right.
there's there's two, technically three stories in particular I want to share, and I'll try to make them quick and easy to digest. The first one starts with rating, and I feel like it resonates with pretty much everybody out there that's ever had, you know, more than 10 minutes of raid experience, where, you know, it primarily happens to people newer to raiding, like getting into a group and learning, like really learning how to play your class and like get into raiding and like just really start to understand what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So this started back in Heaven's Ward, where I finally had decided, you know what, I want to start getting into raiding more, and I got a team together. It was a couple of friends, and then they knew some people, and then before I knew it, I had a whole team. And my co-tank was one of those pretty toxic individuals, and I don't want to like sit here and talk a lot. Well, actually, that's a lie. I want to talk a lot of shit about her, but I'm not going to.
I can always talk shit about tanks.
Yeah, I could talk shit about
It's
tanks
always
all
the
day,
tanks,
and
too.
I am a tank.
It's always the fucking tanks that are the most toxic, I swear.
Really, for me, it's the DPS,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. A lot of tanks I know have a superiority complex and think that they're
which
the
is
tough shit.
unearned because I'm sorry, healers should be the superior ones.
Well, yeah.
There's
So
a few times where I could say, sure, you can have your superiority complex, it's justified, but in what we were doing at the time, it absolutely was not justified, and they really needed to take a fucking
Chill pill.
yeah.
to say the least.
So this code tank of mine, things started off pretty smooth. You know, just kind of getting into the groove of things and learning the fight and like learning how to communicate with one another and all that fun stuff. Except here's the problem, okay? It was this girl who was dating one of like the top raiders on the server. Uh
Yeah.
she herself had little to no raiding experience whatsoever. And for that matter, she wasn't even particularly good at her job. Okay, she was a paladin.
This is one of those stories.
Yeah. So she was a paladin, right? And Heaven's Ward paladin was just like, I think I'd rather just, hit myself in the head with a brick than play Heaven's Ward paladin. But
I didn't play during Heaven's Word. What was Paladin like then? Like, was this like?
imagine riding a little, kiddie bike with training wheels, but you're tanking. That's paladin.
Yeah, but okay. Well, that's still Paladin. Shut
No,
up.
no. Paladin now is actually like pretty good. Like it's pretty balanced against the other tanks, and it's fun. It has a pretty wide range of things.
I'd still
that you can
argue
do.
that it's pretty baby mode as far as the tanks go.
I think so too, but much less than it was then.
Okay, so you're saying it was like really dumbed down.
Yeah,
baby's first tanks.
Yeah, it was Babby's first tanking role. So she had this whole thing about like she always wanted to be the main tank. I was like, all right, fine. I'll play off tank because I'm a Dark Knight. That's my thing. I like being super edgy.
Dark Knight's really fun to off tank with, even still.
Yeah, and even now, like Dark Knight is, in my opinion, and I might catch hate for this. In my opinion, Dark Knight is the best tank, but we're talking about the story here, so like things started off all right.
That's not the best tank, goddammit.
It is, but anyways, the breakdown started to come through as we progressed further through the raid tier, where that kind of toxic, controlling personality started to come out more and more. Like, I was the raid leader. I was the one in charge, and I was the one calling the shots. But, like, every once in a while, she would get way ahead of herself and start yelling at other people as if she's the one in charge. Like, I thought I told you to blah, 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 blah. You should be doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I'd just tell her, like, yo, hey, let me talk to you in this other channel real quick. Pull her in, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? What? Are you in charge? No. Okay, look, I get it. Like, it's frustrating because we keep wiping and, like, people keep making mistakes. But have you ever heard the phrase, you catch more flies with honey? Like, fucking chill.
This
Well,
is why I mute myself during raids.
yeah, and that was the problem, is that everybody else was too. Like, my whole team, there was no communication because nobody wanted to get yelled at by this girl for saying something. And it's like, the wisdom that I have now, I wish I had then, because I would have just kicked her out like the first time that it happened after addressing it. I would have just
Yeah.
been like, nah, done, boom, gone. And it probably would have solved a lot of problems. Because she just was getting psychotic about it. She had like this underlying thing where she like had to prove herself to her internet boyfriend, which I found absolutely hilarious because this guy clearly didn't really care about her. Like, I'm not even
Oof.
sure why like he even entertained the idea of having an in-game girlfriend, other than maybe he's actually a huge pathetic person in life and like doesn't actually, I don't know, whatever. Not a problem that most of us generally have as functioning adults, but I won't judge. So that that whole thing, like, it was just several months of all of this going on, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth after a while. Like, I was just done with raiding. So when Heaven's Ward ended and Stormblood kicked off, I actually just straight up didn't even bother raiding for like the first tier. So I think it was the first like 5 months of the game of Stormblood's existence. I just like was actively refusing to raid because I was just like, no, I'm not dealing with that again.
I mean, to be fair, you really didn't miss much that tier.
I know,
That
yeah.
tier.
like the X Death fight was cool, but other than that, yeah, everything else was just
Yeah,
kind of
the
whatever.
other two tiers were the superior tiers. They had all the fun fights.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, is that the next tier after that, which was one with Kefka,
Yeah, that would be. I
Sigmascape.
think that's Sigma. Yeah,
Yeah,
Delta, Sigma, and then Alpha.
yeah.
Alphascape.
So
I still have awful memories.
Sigmascape, I actually really enjoyed Sigmascape despite all the bad shit that happened during it, because what ended up happening was, my FC, they, like, the other officers, they came to me. They were like, "Hey, look, I know that you don't want to do rating anymore, but like, you consistently rate in like the top 10 in the North American servers. Like, can you please come tank with us? Like, we need you. We want to do a whole big FC group where we like include whoever wants to raid. If they're new to raiding, we introduce them. Like, it was
Oh god.
not.
I joined one of those.
It was done with the best of intentions. I defend the people who came up with the idea because they meant the best.
No, it's not a bad idea. It just usually
Yeah,
attracts people
yeah,
who, in my opinion, and I have a like high standards. I admit that, because I think that I at least deserve people who can listen and
yeah,
process and understand.
yeah,
And a lot of times with groups like that are more casual introduction to rating, they tend to attract people who really can't hold their own, and it's just really hard to keep calm. And that's why I did end up having to mute myself a lot during raids, even though like I needed to be communicating with my co-healer so we could be like, oh, I've got this person, you don't need to get them, raising this person, uh can you shield the tank, I'm out of MP, that kind of shit.
yeah.
So I ended up having to like not be able to do that as much, which, because at that point my healer and I were pretty comfortable with each other, so it didn't really need to be said.
Right.
But
So
the point is that I fucking hate it when people just dead weight.
yeah. So like, for Sigmascape, they started. We as an FC, we started 2 raid teams, and most of Team 1 was like the high officers. That wasn't by intention. That's just kind of the way that it fell down, because we made Team 1 first, and after the tier had kicked off and we had been doing it for a couple of weeks, then more people came in and were like, oh, we want to do this too. So then Team 2 was created. And rather than break up the communication that we had established in Team 1 already, we went ahead and were like, okay, yeah, we'll form Team 2 and you guys can, do your thing. We're going to stay in Team 1. The problem was we had too many chiefs and not enough Indians, so to say. Because me and my co-tank, we worked pretty well together for a little while, but like he had this. I don't want to say anything too bad about him because I kind of understand better now than I did, like his personality traits.
He was autistic.
Kind of. Well, so
Yeah, there we go.
he was the kind of guy that he uses his character to be what he is not. As where
Right, that's what everybody does. That's called role
right,
playing.
except he took it to the
Yeah,
extreme.
that's why my character's a fucking lolly.
I
was gonna say that's why your character is
I
flat.
use my character to impart the things that I don't like about myself, and I create a different person that isn't me.
Your dude is like a 7-foot tall ogre savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you and I have the exact same character except mine's a furry.
So, like, excuse me. So we do our thing, and like as the tier kept going on and on and on and on, it started getting to a point where, like, he had this bad habit where if he wasn't going to get a perfect parse, he would just purposely wipe the team. Like he would cause a party wipe on purpose.
Oh god.
Except,
oh my god, those people.
Yeah, except he wouldn't say anything. Like I would have been cool with it because I was like super hardcore about getting the best parses possible as well. And several other people on the team were as well. Like we were all about like trying to do the best that we could and like find out the best ways to min-max our classes for each fight. Like we were all on board with that sort of idea. It just he would start just messing around and like he would play it as like, oh come on, I'm just joking around, it's just a joke. And it's like it was super aggravating. Like, dude, you just wasted an hour of my life. Like, do you understand how much shit that I have to do outside of this game? I blocked off 4 hours of my life to come and do this because you people asked me to. And now you're wasting my time where I could be making actual money outside of this fucking video game. Like, I'm now angry at you. How dare you waste my time,
How
No,
dare
I
you.
get that 100%. Like, especially with Eureka, if you remember that hellscape.
Yeah, it's so like eventually what ended up happening was like the communication started breaking down hardcore, and it was when we finally got to Guardian. We had a really rough time progging Guardian because like people just couldn't understand the concept of how virus worked as a mechanic. Like I got it, our monk got it, our one healer, actually both of our healers got it, but like everybody else just would just mess this mechanic up bad. So we spent like 3 months progging through this fight, and it was just
What
bad.
was the virus mechanic? I didn't do that tier on Savage. I've only done the
virus can be described
Eden.
as a clusterfuck.
Was it
Alright,
like a
yep,
rot,
that sounds like
rot
anything.
mecanic?
Yeah, that was the one with the rot mechanic. And
Oh,
the push
okay.
pull
Now
and,
I can
like,
kind of
yeah.
see. Oh God, eight.
Yeah.
I hate rot mechanics. They're so stupid.
Yeah, rot with magnetism pushing and pulling, as well as I think people had flares on them. Yeah, it was like defamations, rot, and magnetism like all put together in one mechanic, and there was some really weird ways to handle it. Like,
that mechanic sounds rough, but there's a mechanic in a raid that I play pretty commonly where there's 3 colored slimes, and depending on what color it is, you either have to be really close to it or really far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really hard because I'm
Oh,
colorblind.
oof.
Oh,
So
just have
And it's
someone
like
do
blue,
call outs
green,
for
and
him.
red.
so we spent a long time trying to prog Guardian, and people were just burning out and frustrated at this point. Our bard just straight up didn't even bother showing up to raid after a while. Like he was just done. He was just checked out, and he didn't even bother telling us. So we had to find a replacement for him, which wasn't all that hard. But like at this point, we were all so frustrated that the other tank, like he would just start fucking off like constantly all the time. And it finally, like, we finally somehow clear the fight and we move on to Kefka. We're like, all right, cool. We're finally doing the one big fight everybody's been waiting for. This is it. This is the moment. We get in there, and after like 3 weeks of raiding, like, a couple hours, like 3 days a week, we haven't made much progress at all. We couldn't get past towers. We couldn't get to God Kefka, which was extremely frustrating because, like, I was practicing on my own in the time that I had, so I
Yeah,
knew.
like do like party finder memes.
Yeah, like I was way farther in the fight than most other people, but the problem is that this other dude wouldn't listen to what I was saying when I knew what worked. I would tell him like, "Hey, you don't need to move the boss after that mechanic. Just leave him there so nobody loses uptime because he's just going to move himself back to center after a couple of seconds anyways." And every single time he'd be like, "Well, no, we need to be prepared for this mechanic." Like, dude, no, stop. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be fine. And he refused to listen because, and I found this out much later on, what the real problem was is his insecurities had led him to believe that him and I had a rivalry because he had always seen himself as better than
What?
me. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. So that's the thing is that he was.
Oh gosh, that's just like Ahab. You and I are rivals, brah. You and I are both happily married men with promising careers and a wonderful life. But you know what? You know what? You and I are rivals now, and I'm gonna make us both miserable to emphasize that we're rivals, Ahab.
Yeah. Like, and this is like the most mind bending part about it. Okay. So when I had joined the free company years ago, I was actually just very, very new to the game. I didn't even know what I was doing. So he was already an officer. He was already one of the high officers in in the FC. So at the time, everybody saw him as like the top tank, the tank guru. He's the Dark Knight. Oh, hey, everybody likes this guy. And then like slowly over time, it started becoming, oh, person A is the top tank. And then it was like, oh, well, Ahab's also a good tank. And then it would shift to, oh, hey, person A and Ahab are the tanks. And then eventually it started becoming, hey, Ahab's better. Hey, we want Ahab. Ahab knows what he's doing. Ahab's one of the best Dark Knights in the world. Oh my God, hey, Ahab's like,
Oh gosh, Ahab.
yeah, and
So should I just rename this episode Ahab jerks himself off in the corner?
okay, funny. No, I'm simply relaying what people were saying.
I am simply repeating why they were gargling my balls. I don't know why they were gargling my balls. I'm just saying they were gargling my balls, right, guys?
It's because
I'm great.
I have
They're
like the
gargling my
best
balls.
DPS in like the
Yeah.
entire raid group.
Okay,
I was the
okay.
best off healer as a Dark Knight, guys.
Oh Jesus! So,
Shut the fuck up.
but no, like the whole thing about it though is like the whole time I was like, hey, we're a team. We work together. We're working well together. Like,
Oh, that's somebody who's the best would say. Like, hey guys, I'm carrying you, but we're a
No,
team.
no.
You ruined your own free company, Ahab. You monster.
So I never wanted any friction between me and this guy at all.
Never asked for this.
Like,
yeah, because you were better than
No,
him. You just wanted him to be in his
no,
place.
there was I wanted him to excel the same way that I was, and that's my whole thing. Is like, people ask me like, oh, what's the secret? I'm like, there is no secret. It comes with practice and patience. You know, like
Yeah. No, guys, trust me. I'm just better. Like, I'm white. I'm 6'1". I'm married. Like, you guys are just miserable little cave trolls. I'm better in every way.
No, so like the problem was that he never said anything. He had this like,
No, because Sasuke doesn't talk. Sasuke doesn't talk,
my
man. Him
God,
and Naruto are
that
rivals, and he never
oh my
talks.
God, that's you don't okay. So when he streams, he has like a little image card to like cover his chat window, and he
Face.
always has a
Oh,
fucking picture of Sasuke.
called it.
Yeah.
That's why he thought the whole rival thing would be funny, because he's like, I would just want to be like my buddy Sasuke because I'm going blind. I don't know.
Like,
Kat, you wanted to talk about PvP. I'm sorry, Ahab. I'm cutting
you're
you
good. You're
off.
good.
Kat, PvP.
Oh my god, PvP in this game is somehow more toxic than games that are actually PvP games. Like,
Now I will say I've only played PvP twice, and both times ninjas just murked me from behind because my tanks weren't protecting me.
I've played quite a bit of. This is just mostly about Frontline because it's a
That's
fuck
the
ton of.
only PvP anybody plays.
Well, not just that, it's the one that's got the most personalities, so of course it's the one that everyone talks about. And if it's going to be a
Toxics
negative.
about.
Toxics, yeah. Because there's 72 people playing.
Yeah, that sounds like ass.
Yeah, so you've got 24 people on your team, 8 on your,
Yes.
like, group. So, a lot of the time, you'll get really shitty callouts from people, or you won't get any at all. And then the people who aren't giving you callouts that are like, oh my god, you guys are so awful. You don't actually know what to do in this game. Oh my god, you're just feeding. Stop it. And all they act like Frontline is life or fucking death. And
For
it
for
is
some of these people, it is.
no.
Like,
No, they act like it's like seriously the end of the world if they lose. It's they're like, oh, these people are just here doing their daily roulettes. They're not real PvPers. And it's like, dude, you're playing an MMO and you're playing it for PvP. How actually smooth-brained are you? Cuz it's not even that good. It's just the objective-based ones are pretty fun. But the actual PvP stuff, no, it's fucking lame. If you think otherwise, I'm sorry, but you actually have brain damage. And if you think being good at PvP means you're good at the game, you are as smooth as fucking glass in your brain. There's like
I
nothing
don't
there.
know. I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty good at PvP. I cast the spells that make the people stand back up. I'm pretty good, guys.
No. PvP is not. It takes skill, yes, I will give you that, but it doesn't mean you're some sort of god because I play feast. I do the feast. I'm cool. No, shut the fuck up. Call me when
Yeah.
you're like actually playing the game. You're just playing a watered down version of the game that's like, oh, I get to kill other players. I get the big brain rush.
Here's the thing though. Like, there is a point where you just got to say let people play the game. And if you don't want to play PvP and deal with like the tard wagon, then you don't have
Well,
to.
the problem with that is that there's a lot of glams that are locked behind PvP. So you
Right.
do have the issue of there's people who aren't taking it seriously. They're just there to get their daily wolf marks and fuck off. So I
Well,
get where they're
Cat,
coming
you're
from.
just missing the important detail.
What?
Get good.
There it is.
Oh,
Stop
I am good
complaining
at
and get good.
I am good at frontline PvP. I know how to play the game. I know the strategy. I understand how it works. But if I'm the only one out of 72 people that knows what the fuck they're doing,
Well, obviously you're not. The other 48 people know what they're doing that aren't on your team.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The
So the
other
other
64 people.
it's just a fucking real tragedy that it's always my team that's either really good or really retarded, and I never get the middle.
Do you know what the real tragedy is, though, Kat?
That I'm playing PvP in fucking Final Fantasy 14. Yes, I'm aware.
No, it's the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the
God
Wise.
You
damn
know
it.
what? I'm just gonna fucking leave. That's what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna fucking.
Good, because we do have to wrap up. Actually, Ahab has a raid to get to, and I have to do some other work. So, we are. Is there anything else you guys want to say? Like anything you want to throw out? I know, Kat, you have your Twitter handle. Mifi is here.
0127.
The fact that there are 126 other Mifis
There
is
aren't.
here.
It's literally
You
the
can,
numbers
Ahab.
in my Discord tag.
Well,
All right, and Ahab wants to call out one of our joint friends' game.
so I am actually one of the writers for Savage Company, which is it's a campaign setting supplement book for the Pathfinder tabletop RPG. I just want to throw it out there that it's orcs, hobgoblins, bugbears, machine guns, chainsaws, lots of vehicles. It's heavy metal explosions and ridiculousness that can't be measured on a normal scale. And if that sounds like your sort of thing, you can find it on drivethroughrpg.com. Just search Savage Company or SHM Publishing.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to do it.
I do have
And no,
one
there's
thing
not going to be a part 2, Kat.
God damn it.
I'm not going to deal with the psychological breakdown of Ahab talking about why everybody else is weaker than him again.
Oh, hey.
No, it's just because I didn't even get to talk about the worst part about Final Fantasy, and that is the hunting community
The
and
what?
the hunts, the S rank hunts that
The hunt trains.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a whole
We
thing.
have a lot to teach you, Ma.
How do I not know about hunts? Like, I've been playing sometimes.
It's
You know,
it's a whole thing.
This is just a conversation for another day, and I would like to take one more second to say fuck you, Arion Pax. You are a control freak, and I dislike you intensely, and I wish
And
you would just stop
allegedly a
playing.
pedophile.
Allegedly a pedophile. I can't confirm. But
We need a honeypot cat. Cat, go in there, talk to him, be like, "Hello, senpai." Ooh. All right. Then that's everything.
Yep.
We'll catch you guys next time. I think, what do I have next? I don't know. I'm working with other people. So we will then bring these two back so we can talk about the hunting community.
Oh yes.
And I might just like bring in a furry then and just make it a two-parter between like bashing on furries and MMOs.
Oh, cool. You can bring in another furry because the one in the call right now isn't good enough for you.
You're a furry? Lame. All right.
hate you
That's
so
it,
much.
everybody. All right. Thank you,
Thank
Ahab.
you.
Thank you, Kat, for being here.
Anytime.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.